Confident or cocky, dominant, or am I bossy? Quick, you steal my style or copy? Can you terminate or stop me? Better pick your words carefully. Choose them like you choose your friend. Words are like some dynamite. Be careful how you using them. I dive deep into words, no scuba gear. Learning vocabulary, never live in fear. Words that mean the same thing, those are synonyms. But even synonyms have subtle differences. Like if I say, there's no place like home, you know how I feel and where I want to go. If I say, there's no place like a residence, it's pretty obvious those are different sentences. Even though both words share the same definition, they feel different in a sentence. You better listen. Denotation is the literal meaning. The definition in the dictionary book you'll be needing. The connotation, that's the emotional meaning. It's how a word hits you and how you're feeling. And words have subtle shades, yeah, you better get exploring. Better pick the right word so your lines are never boring. Pick the words I need. Know the denotation, that's the definition, y'all. See? Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the connotation, that's the feeling of it. Got me. Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the denotation, that's the definition, y'all. See? Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the connotation, that's the feeling of it. Got me. The elderly man wasn't active sitting in his chair. He was curious, looking around everywhere. That old man was lazy, sitting in his chair. He was nosy, looking around everywhere. Just then, a big bird flew down, then bumped into the man and knocked him to the ground. Just then, an enormous bird flew down, then smacked the man and smashed him to the ground. With a loud sound, the bird stretched his wings. We were calling out, what in the world is that thing? With a thunderous shriek, the bird stretched his wings. We were screaming, what in the world is that thing? Just then, a herd of displeased bunnies came out of nowhere. They looked pretty funny. Just then, an army of angry rabbits came out of nowhere. I think they were rabbits. Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the denotation, that's the definition, y'all. See? Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the connotation, that's the feeling of it. Got me. Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the denotation, that's the definition, y'all. See? Pick the words, pick the words I need. Know the connotation, that's the feeling of it. Got me.
Okay, so if you guys couldn't tell, we are doing connotation and denotation. That's what we're discussing today. So you need to make sure that you have your notes that look like this. You should have them downloaded because we're going to be going through them together. Then, let's see if I can get this to go. So denotation and connotation. Denotation is the dictionary definition, the word's literal meaning only. There's no emotion or feeling associated with the word. It's pretty much neutral. It's in the middle. It doesn't really have any major feeling associated with it. It's just a maiden definition. Okay? So an example would be the teacher walked into the classroom. It doesn't have any hidden meaning. The teacher simply walked into a classroom. So over here, you can see that you already have the definition right here. And you need to write the sentence that we have as an example. So, the teacher walked into the classroom. All right. And then connotation. And if we go back over here, connotation is a word's emotional meaning or the suggestions and associations that are connected to the word. So it's how it makes you feel. It can make you feel good, which would be positive. It can make you feel, ooh, that's pretty bad, negative. Or sometimes it's like, it's in the middle. And that kind of ends up being a little bit with the connotation. So Words can also connote or convey specific feelings or emotions. So some words have the same meaning, similar denotative. So a lot of words have the same definition, but they give you a different feeling because of it. So an example would be giggle and cackle. They both mean to laugh. So what connotation do you think each word has? So if we look back here, so think about it. Connotation or giggle and cackle both mean to laugh. Well, I always think of giggling as little kids laughing at something silly. I always think of cackling. I always think of it being like a villain, that really loud, obnoxious laugh that they might have, where it's like even associated with witches. So that's exactly what they talk about over here. Each one has a different one. This one is a positive. Giggle is positive, where cackle is negative. So giggle would be positive. Because it is like associated with children. It's silly and fun type of laugh. And you may have to stretch that back out. All right, where cackle is a negative, it's associated with witches, and it's usually loud and shrill laugh. Okay, so that's definitely a more negative connotation. All right, so for an example, the eerie fog hovered in front of the abandoned house. So what words in that sentence do you believe create connotation? So what gives you feelings in that sentence? I would start with maybe eerie, hovered, abandoned. Those all are negative or different connotations. So I would definitely start with eerie, because eerie makes you feel like, oh, it's spooky, it's kind of scary. So that definitely would be a more negative connotation or a more spooky connotation. Think about horror movies. Hovered. Anybody that's hovering or hanging around that isn't supposed to be there, it kind of makes you feel like somebody's not supposed to be there. So in this situation, the fog might be isn't supposed to be there. And abandoned, I definitely always think of somebody who isn't, like, it's a haunted type house. Okay, so then this definitely gives you a negative connotation. All right, so then down here, I actually have already done this one, and I will delete these so that you guys can actually see how to do this. I will come back and do this with you. Obviously, I'm having issues with deleting that one. Okay, so to do this, you need to come up here and you need to find this little circle up here, and we're going to underline. So we want to find this line right here. But before we do that, let's discuss kind of what's next. So they did talk about the eerie fog. Eerie creates a negative and creepy feeling. Hovered, negative again. And abandoned makes you think of being... Abandoned makes you think of being negative because it's not wanted. Connotation, we're not going to get into fog. That can also make you think negative. So, smiling educator strolled into the peaceful classroom. What words create connotation in the sentences above? So, I would definitely think of, if we come over here, we should have the, oh, it didn't want to let me do that again. So you should have a little pencil. Think about it. Smiling, that would definitely be a happy type of connotation. Even educator is a more positive. Ooh, not very straight line, is it? All right, and then strolled, because if you're walking, stroll means to walk. Well, but if you're strolling, you're kind of peacefully walking along and it's happy. Definitely, I would say peaceful would be a positive connotation, and even classroom, especially right now. You know, we want to be in a classroom. It's usually pretty good in there. Whoops. So the connotation here that it would give you would be more positive, because you're thinking of peaceful, and if a teacher is smiling and they stroll into the classroom, that means they're happy and things are good. So then you're having a good day. Now, if we go to this next one, the cranky schoolmarm stormed into the noisy, chaotic circus. What words kind of do those things give? What feelings do those words give you? A schoolmarm is a female school teacher, especially the old-timey kind of country school type. They're usually really prim and proper and strict. And so if you think about that, what would that be? Again, we still have this thing right here. I would not want a cranky teacher. I would even consider schoolmarm, because I don't want to be called a schoolmarm. That makes me feel like I'm a strict, mean teacher. I'm strict, but I'm not mean. At least I don't think so. Stormed. If I storm into the classroom, you probably are going to be a little bit nervous. If I find a noisy, chaotic circus for my classroom, I'm definitely not going to be a happy teacher. So all of those give us a more negative connotation. All right, I'm going to go back here. So I'm going really fast, you guys, because I have to keep this at a certain time. So if you look, the smiling educator strolled into the peaceful classroom. All of the words connote a kind, happy teacher. Happy teacher, and you have a good environment, makes you want to learn, it makes you happy, makes you feel positive. So that's a positive connotation. If I walked in and hadn't had my coffee and I was cranky, if I was super strict and never let you even move, that would be super negative. If I had a noisy, chaotic circus, I would definitely be cranky. So, and hopefully you guys probably would be too. It's hard to learn in that type of environment, and it's very stressful. So it would definitely be negative. All right. So that's all for your notes today. I hope that helped and gave you a good idea of what you're going to be doing. Make sure that you submit this page back in and that you do all of this that you need to do, and have a great weekend. All right. Bye.